Hello and welcome to Hobby Vlog number 109. This week I have been productive. I have got stuff done and it's been a really enjoyable week for finishing off one project in particular, which I'm sure you'll be very pleased to see done, and also because I did receive finally another order of resin, so while I've not worked on it this week, I will be able to get back to the lake and maybe even finish it over Christmas, which is just exciting as anything. Like I say, good week, lots of progress. I'm not going to do too much of an intro this week, just enjoy the video. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I reply to them all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again at the end. And we're back to this. Now, in the vlog I've just finished editing, I subheaded the clips for this pain, and that's what it is. I mean, I've squashed it a number of times. I'm not sure that these big fat fingers are going to be able to achieve this very well. However, friends to the rescue. Meredith from Scattered Terrain, who was a recommendation Mondays last month in November, I was complaining about just how difficult this is. And she came up with the idea of, why don't you do it as a crashed model? Why don't you have it crashed onto an alien planet, and that's how far away from home it is. And frankly, I think that even if I tried to do this not crashed, it would probably end up looking crashed. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do detailed filming anymore of putting it together because it is just so ridiculous. All I'm going to say at this stage is enter at your own risk. If you pick one of these Metal Earth models, you really do need to be confident in your ability to not be a klutz like me. So I'm going to put it together and then I'll come back once I've finished putting it together and I've got something that, even if it looks a bit wrecked and if it's in bits, and then I'll have a lot of fun putting it onto a diorama. I should also reinforce I do have a plastic model of this coming, so I should be able to end up with a proper one, a flying one, which I'll bring to the channel when that arrives. I'm waiting for the slow post to deliver it. But yeah, pain, that's what this is. And yeah, let's just do a crashed one. So I'm having a lot of fun just out of shot over there playing with the polyfill, well, so holofill, not polyfill, holofill. And what I've realised I need to do is actually get the backboard done properly. So I've got some of this 1 centimetre thick blue expanded polystyrene, XPS, and what I'm going to do now, I've cut it out so that it's the right height. This here is the depth of the actual shelf, so I will be gluing the shelf to this. But first of all, what I'm going to do, I think first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down to the XPS. So that will then be a nice, secure, upright, as you can see, be solid enough. It's going to be mounted on the wall anyway, and then I can glue that in place, and then I'll be able to start actually fixing the holofill in place. So I'm going to use PVA for this, I think. I might use the strong glue, I might use contact adhesive. I will let you know what I use, but then I'll weight it all down, leave it to dry, and then the next thing will be to fix this in place and actually start gluing the start gluing the holofill in place. So yeah, progress. So the final touch on this piece is going to be the smoke, and you can see here I've got some hollow fibre, hollow fill, whatever you call it, and I'm just going to put a blob of PVA down here, simple as that, and then we're going to press that in place and let that dry. We'll say that the wind is blowing in this direction, so that when that's dried, that will look really, really nice. So a super, super simple build. I know it's not to the extent of the ones. Never enter this challenge to win it, so don't really mind. I've made something that I wouldn't have done, and that can now go with the other tiles that I'm making for Chain of Command, and it'll be a really nice, just a nice little bit of scenery. You can kind of have a little bit of smoke cover here. You can maybe the house rule it or something, that you can, maybe it could be something that you've got to try and diffuse. It could be a really fun little scenario, or whatever. I'm happy with it. Easy, quick, and looks good. and that's what matters. Right, let's get stuck into these Khandish horsemen. I've got 3 packs, so I will assemble and paint them all together, do them as a batch. These are unopened, I've not even looked yet, so let's get one of them open and have a look and see what we've got inside the pack. Well, there we are, that's what you get, plus the bases obviously. They are new bases in these, the hex ones rather than the round ones, so there will be some green stuff or other putty going on to mount them. As these are metal, I will wash in hot soapy water and dry before I do anything with them, but I probably will clean up this sprue, little bits of sprue and what have you before I do that as well. I just use a side snips and a craft knife to do that rather than anything like anything fancy. I do have a mould line removal tool, however it's really only good for plastic, I wouldn't use it on metal. So we have some side snips and a hobby knife, which is what I'll use to clean these up. So I'm going to sit down now, get these cleaned up, dunk them into hot boiling water, very hot water with soap, give them a good soak in that and a scrub with a toothbrush, and then rinse them off in more hot water and let them dry. And then I'll bring you back and we'll have a look at assembling one. And as I say, I'm going to do all 6 at once, but I'll focus on just one of them as part of this video. So yeah, really hope to get these done before Christmas. It's just at the end of November as I stand recording this, so I've got a month and I want to get the whole of my Khandish army assembled, painted and ready by the end of by Christmas, which is a tall order with how busy I am, but if you don't set yourself targets then you never achieve anything, so let's see if we can do it. I realised that there are actually 2 miniatures, 2 different ones. So there's an axe dude and a dude with firing his arrow, his bow and arrow. So I'm going to show how I glue both of them together just for completeness rather than just doing one at a time, or just doing one of each. So yeah, you can see that we have 3 items here that are going to be glued on. We've got a front leg, a back leg and the axe arm. So the first thing that I'll do is snip the front leg off the metal sprue and then just check that with very carefully and using my knife, trim off anything that's left over, which there is a little bit. There we are. And that now can be glued in place in there. Now I think there might be some filling. Looking at this, I might end up doing a little bit of filling. It will depend on how when I get it all glued together, and I'll have a look. But I probably will. But what we do is I'm going to use a bit of super glue. I've got these wonderful super glue pens, which I'm completely addicted to now. They're so much better than the squeezy tubes. They don't stop working basically. The tubes stop quite often if you leave them for more than a week or 2. They die and then you waste all of the glue that's inside. So yes, yeah, so I'm going to use that and I'm going to glue the front leg in place, and that will set. While that one's setting, let's move to the other one and glue the front leg for that one in place as well, which is basically the same, exactly the same shape. Now it seems like it has some potentially some grass on it, this one, so I'm going to cut this lower down, and I can always trim that off if I realise I've made a mistake, but I don't think I have. It looks like it's got grass on it. So yeah, so we'll get that glued in the same place, in the same way. I really like those things, those glue things. There we are. So when those have gone off, I will come back and do the next step, which will probably be the back leg. But as you can see, need a minute or so for it to get to its grab. So I'll come back when that's done. Right, it's been a few minutes. So what we're now going to do is glue the back leg on. So that's exactly the same thing. And I've realised now I might have supposed to have left some of the front leg on, having looked a little bit closer on this one, same as I did on the other one, because I think it might have some sculpted on grass, but whatever. I'll be doing scenic bases obviously. So clean that up a bit, make sure it's not too terrible in terms of mould lines, and then I'll put some super glue in along the back and here, and then that will glue in nicely. And it looks to me like it's exactly the same for the other one. So I'll just get both of these done now. I won't bother filming the other one because it's exactly the same, and then we'll have a look at the hands, and then we're done, and I'll get to assembling the other ones off camera and get them primed and painted. Very, very cool to get this project underway. So the legs are on, hopefully solidly. So now it's time to do the arms. So we have two variants, as I've said. I'm not going to do any converting on any of the other ones, certainly not of this box, any of these, this batch anyway. Going to just do them straight as they are out the box. So we'll snip that off. This is the axe one, and the axe one goes on this dude. So you can see, actually I need to clean that up a little bit. There's a little bit of flash on it which I missed, so I'll just snip that off as well, otherwise it won't fit in all. So yeah, and you can see that guy, it has a little hole, and you can see you can put it at different angles clearly, but this first one I'm going to do with it relatively pointing up like that. Oh, I was out of camera, sorry. Like that, that's how I'm going to do that one. So again, just a little drop of glue and put that in, and I'll do that off camera. And then the final thing is the second guy, who is a archer and who has his bow up. Now I might string the bows, but I'm not sure. But they do look like they're pretty suitable for stringing because of how they're positioned in the act of drawing, which is pretty cool. Gives a good opportunity for stringing. So yeah, that one slots in there. And again, I will do a little dab of super glue and get that glued in place. And then that's the assembly. So next up will be painting. I prime things in grey using Vallejo's grey primer. And I'll bring you along at the end of each session to show you what colours I've used. I'm not going to do live video on this, but yeah, I'm going to try and get these done, and then I'll pick up another batch, another thing. I might do a chariot rider or two next and see how they go. So yeah, that's these assembled. I'll get them painted, let you know what colours I've used, and then have a look at the basing after that. So yeah, great stuff. Right, so let's have a first look at this print. If you have a look at that, you can see that it is quite literally still in the resin. It's pretty crazy. There we are. Madness. So yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm probably actually not going to be able to move that. I'm actually going to have to get some help to move the resin tank at the same time as I move the build plate, because yeah, otherwise it's going to cause chaos and they're going to drip everywhere. But yeah, that's how big that print is. I don't know whether it's worked or not. Can't see. I need to take it off the build plate. But yeah, it's using all of the Z-index, Z-axis. Very cool. Hopefully it's worked. If not, well, I don't know. I'll just use green stuff. And I've been trying to work out just that final little touch for this, because it is a bit bland. It's what I wanted, but it is a bit bland. And I was cleaning up some miniatures, some metal miniatures, the other day, and I found this is actually completely accidental, but totally great opportunity, which I'm going to take advantage of. This little sliver, which I'm struggling to pick up, it's very, very fine. Actually came off of the sprue, and as you can see, it looks a little bit like a cross. So what I am going to do is I am going to stick this on there, here, just flat and just very subtle. And I'm just going to put it down in between one of the cracks of the cobblestones. So I'll just put a little bit of super glue in like that, and then drop it in place. What was that bang? That was noisy. So there's a little bit of super glue. We'll just drop it in place. It won't impact playability at all. It probably won't even be noticed by very many people. But if I zoom that right in, actually onto it, you can see there we are. We have a little cross, and the potential is that someone was there, the bomb dropped, and they weren't injured by the will of the gods. So tomorrow is the last day in November, which means that the Christmas tree is going to be put up very soon, which means that I no longer have to worry about keeping this little thing secret from Rosie, and it means that I can actually put it onto the layout now. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue these in place. I think I'm going to go around this area here. I was going to go up here, and I might put, I'm not sure, I don't think so, because the actual branches of the tree come across over the top here a bit. I'm actually a little bit worried that they're going to catch on these, but never mind. So I think that just playing around in this area is going to be the best thing, because it's going to be easiest for Rosie to see, and it's not going to be obscured by the Christmas tree. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll point the camera down, get it close up, put some music on, and set them in place, and you can enjoy as we build the Woodland Scenics Snowball Fight A1894. And as I put that in place and we finish off, I'm very excited, and she is very excited for the train. She keeps mentioning it, which I think is awesome. So yeah, can't wait to get this back up. So let's go to shaky cam. We've got someone here sliding through some snow, and a little guy here who's wiping his face, having been got with a snowball. We've got this guy here striding across. We've got a guy over here taking aim at the guy striding across. We've got a couple of kids over here having a lot of fun. And then at the top of the cliff, we have the snowman. And I'm very pleased with how that looks, and I think that Rosie's going to love that as well. So there we are. I'll let that now to set and go off, and then hopefully we won't damage them when we put the tree up, but we shall see. So the tree's going to be going up either tomorrow or the next day, but that's now going to get a good time to set. Leave that alone, don't touch it, and that should be strong enough hopefully to survive. Well, hey, and that, other than a short clip when the tree is up, is this project done again for the year. And yeah, I'm really pleased with the improvements I've done this year. Not sure what I'm going to do next year. That's the problem, isn't it? But that's this year done at least. So the next thing that I need to do on these is fill in these dirty grey big gaps, because there are enough gaps in these and they're big enough that I do need to actually fill them. So for this I'm going to make use of Milliput, and here I have two roughly equal sized bits, and what I'm going to do is mix it together. I always have water to hand when I'm mixing Milliput. I just find that it makes the whole process go a lot easier, a lot simpler. It says to mix for several minutes, but I've found that you don't really need to. What I have always found, and this is one of the reasons to do batch of this, is you always mix too much. As little as you try to pinch off, you always pinch off too much, and you always ended up with waste, which does annoy me. I have in the past made little sculpts of leftover green stuff and Milliput, but yeah, there we are. So that's mixed. The aim of mixing it is to make sure that there's no streaks anymore in the mixture, which there isn't. So what we'll then do is take a very small amount and roll that into a sausage. So we have a small amount here. So you just need a small amount, and what you do is, I have my sculpting tools magnetised to my bench above me, so I'll be able to reach them. What you do is you apply that to the model, then you reach your sculpting tool, here we are, and then encourage that into the gaps. And it is not simple, but that's all you do, but it can be quite hard, I've found, to do it perfectly. But if you just take your time, this step really does improve the whole result of the model, because if you don't do this, then these gaps will be glaringly obvious once you paint. So just come in and encourage the gap to be full, and you can slice your next step and lift it with your sculpting tool and all those sorts of little things. So anyway, I'm gonna get this done. You've pretty much seen everything I'm going to do, so I'll turn the camera off because I'm going to go and sit and watch some YouTubes and just get this done for all of the models, and then I'll leave it and prime and paint next, which is cool. So there we are, we're making good progress on this project, though it's a little fiddlier than I expected it to be to actually put the models together. I hoped to be able to avoid this step, but anyway. You could avoid this step, you just would be annoyed at yourself because they would look rubbish. So let's get that done, and I'll be back with the painting step next. These took me an hour to do this morning. It was a very long and painful process, but they're done now and it's all dried. So what I'm going to do is going to prime them. I'll prime them grey. I am going to follow the box art for at least a couple for the horses, so I'm going to do black horses. I'm not totally sure of the colour scheme I'm going to do yet. I will probably let that emerge as I'm going, and I'll attempt to record it and then let you know what the colours are, but I'm not going to go into detail on painting these. So the next time we see them, we'll be looking at them fully painted, we'll talk through the colour scheme, and then we'll have a look at how I'm going to base them. So yeah, pretty painful process of putting in the milliput. I always used to love metal miniatures, and once they're done I love them, but working with metal miniatures is really painful. Let me give you a brief reenactment of what just happened. And almost just happened again actually, because that's backwards, and that gives you a hint of what just happened. I went and had a look at my backdrop and it's glued on perfectly. There is no shifting that off of this blue XPS. None whatsoever. It's absolutely brilliant. I did use spray glue, which is really good and really secure, and I've gone to it and I've stuck it all upside down. Oh dear, never let it be said that I don't make stupid mistakes. So what I was about to do was drill some holes in the back of this, put some small just basically cocktail sticks in, and then glue it on with cocktail sticks to make it more secure. And that's not going to happen now, is it? So what's going to happen now is I'm going to cut this lip off here, which is no longer needed because, yeah, I'm going to have to mount it on top of the backboard like that rather than behind it, which is annoying. I might, no, I'm not going to bother. But I'm not going to bother trying to put anything behind it. But what I will do is I will drill now and put in place some cocktail sticks. So I'll drill and glue the cocktail sticks here along the back, and then when I come to do this I will be able to push it down, have a little bit more security coming, so it's got a little bit more kind of integrity, and then glue it in place. So I'll get my drill out and get that done and show you what it looks like when it's in place. But yeah, that did make me laugh. What an idiot. Look at how great it is. We could have the upside down dinosaur, I suppose, but yeah, no, not happening. Let's save it again. As you can see, I've put the first of the cocktail sticks in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the second one in as well. Now I've only got two of those straight edges. Actually, I might have a third, so I might be able to put one in the middle because I do need to clamp it, because we need this to be absolutely vertical, and that's what I'm doing there. So what I've got is my Dremel. Try not to knock the one that I've clamped in place, and what I've done is I've drawn a line here which is exactly the depth of the blue foam, and so I'm going to put my hole in the middle of that line. So let's get that drilled. Just make a nasty noise. I might skip this or put some music on. I do love my Dremel. So that's been drilled, so what we'll do now is just get rid of that dust. And then the best way to apply glue to a cocktail stick that you want to go into an hole is get the glue towards the end of your pot and put it on the stick. So that now can be inserted in, and that's actually gone in much better, much more vertical than the first one. So I might even be able to get away without clamping that, just leave that to go off. And that now means that I mean, it's going to be a bit of a pain, and I might actually end up putting these in half. Not sure. I might end up snipping these in half, putting half in, because it's going to be very hard to press the back down over this and keep it going straight without it going all wonky. That's going to be quite a tough challenge. So I might actually make those slightly less prominent. So yeah, I will grab myself. I'm going to do that. That's me making a decision. Grab some wire, some snips, which is the really cool way to cut this stuff. Work out roughly how high you want it. Let's cut them in half. About there. There we are. And then I might need a bigger drill bit, actually, having done that. That doesn't want to go in at all. I'm going to need a little bit of a bigger drill bit. So that was perfect size drill bit for when I was putting the spike in, but I need the next size up to be able to insert the body of the cocktail stick. So there we are. You've seen me as I work properly. I will get that re-drilled, get that glued in. I'll put the rest of the spikes on. I'm probably only going to put 4 in, 1 on each end, and then split the difference. So put them in quarters. That'll be enough. Otherwise, again, it'll be really, really difficult to fit it. Learn that lesson, and then I'll let them dry. And then next time I'll film will be when I'm actually looking to glue the backboard in place. All right, so this is going to be fun. I've set up a little bit of a form for me to, or a guide, so that I can, when I push this backboard down, it will hopefully go down straight. So what I'm going to do is going to run beta PVA, and I'm going to do PVA on this. I think it's the right glue to use. It will go off overnight, but with the pins, hopefully it will be quite a secure bond anyway. So I'm going to beta PVA down the edge here between the 2 lines, and make sure I put some on top of the cocktail sticks and skewers. So there we are. And what I've done is I have clamped a 90-degree at this end here. So that's just clamped to the desk. I'm going to make sure that I do it not upside down again. And I should be able to go up against that guide, and that will give me the correct location to the right. So I'm going to go down vertically, and fingers crossed I can just push down like that. There we are. And that has a little bit of PVA to clean up front and back. It's not perfect, but to be fair, I think that's going to be good enough. I'm not going to lift it and drop it again. It's a little bit out, it's a little bit too far up this end, a little bit too far back that end. There's a slight overlap, cut the mill out, but it's good enough for me. So yeah, I'll let that dry. I've got some PVA here that's seeped, so I'll just run that along, tidy that bead, and then I can put that to dry overnight, and tomorrow I will be able to start actually putting the clouds in and then fitting things in place. That's really exciting. So yeah, excellent. So I just really badly overmixed a batch of the modelling compound, and that will probably let you know roughly when I'm filming this. It was for the Battle Games Middle Earth bridge build, and it is already going off, and I hate waste, so I'm going to try to make use of this for this next Dinosaur racer diorama here. Now this is going to mean it's going to jump to a slightly higher point in the priorities, so I'll probably start painting this up soon. But my plan for this was, and I might not have quite enough air dry clay, even also not air dry clay, modelling compound to achieve this, but at least I can start and I can mock it up. My plan is to have the Dinosaur rider here, and have a grassy bank on this side, so this will need to be smoothed out quite a lot from what it is now, because obviously, like I say, it's going off a bit dry, unfortunately, a bit drier than what I'd normally use. And then to have some stones and what have you, or maybe a small trees or something on the other side, and a path coming between these two features. So I'm going to get this in place and smoothed off. You just saw me dunk my hand in a cup of water. That really helps to smooth modelling compound if your hands are wet, and also means you can clean it off. So I need to get myself a paper towel to wipe the sides of this, because I don't want that staining with white. Really, I want to keep that wooden effect. So there we are. This is going to be a good start for this, and I will have to come back to this when I finish painting the miniature and do the whole of the rest of the scenic base. But at least I've not wasted the modelling compound, and I've made a start. So I'll go wash my hands, wipe the sides of that. I shall do that now. I've got a towel on the side, so let's just get rid of all the modelling compound and what have you that's on the side, because I really don't want that white there. There we are. Clean that off. Let that dry, and yeah, I'll also start to paint up the actual miniature as well. So that will come back onto the radar. But that's the rough idea. That he's going to be here. There's a path, and then I'll put something here, maybe some stones or some trees or something. So anyway, I'm quite pleased actually, accidentally, to have an overrun of material and get started on that. It's pretty cool. I've bought myself some more resin, a lot more resin, so I can get back to this lake and hopefully get it done. So that's 15 kilograms. And this is 6.5 kilograms. So it's two to one, two of this to one of this to mix it. So it's a slightly different resin than I've been using. They stopped selling the one that I've been using all this time. But yeah, I just went for the lot. So at some point, probably not immediately soon, but I'll get time to do the pour, and I will get that lake finished. And I can't wait. So yeah, there's some resin. So I've got the 3 Khandish Chariots for my can project, and I'm going to start to put these together now and get them painted and what have you. And I've opened up one of the packs, and yeah, wow, I think this is going to be an incredibly interesting build. So what we're going to do now is going to have a quick look at what's in the pack, and then what I'll do is I'll wash and clean up all of the kits, and I'll put one together on camera. But it might be the second one I put together, because this does look complex. But we'll go through the complete build process of one of them, because it looks complicated and it might help someone out. So yeah, so first of all, let's have a quick look and see what's inside the blister pack, and then I'll get them washed and we will start to do the assembly. So here we are. We have one round base, and from what I've heard, these resemble throwing toys on the battlefield. So you've got a couple of horses, we've got a couple of wheels, we've got the actual chariot itself, and a very cool looking charioteer who has an axe and a bow. So that's pretty cool. Then assorted other stuff. So that looks like it's supposed to be the yoke, though I'm not sure. It's going to be an interesting one to put together, as I've said. We've got some legs for horses here. We've got the flag, and what else is there? Oh, some more. Oh, okay, so we can do different things here. So we've got like they're probably the uprights for the actual chariot itself. Now, I haven't seen any instructions, so I'm going to struggle with this, I think. So I'll dig the instructions out, try and find some, and wash, and then we'll be back to try to put this kit together. But that doesn't look very easy. So this could be an interesting build. Well, here we are, the 3 chariots I've all dried, washed and dried and ready for assembly. Try to keep them organised, as you can see. Oops, kick the camera, sorry. Trying to keep them organised, as you can see. I'm just going to get cracking on it. I've not been able to find any instructions, but I think I've worked it out now, so I think I should be able to do it without any. It's not as complicated as at first I thought. So yeah, I will gather together some glue and some patience and bring you along for this exciting adventure putting this together. Hopefully it won't be as bad as it looks, but we shall see. Well, I planned to do the assembly and then I sat down and realised, oh, I need to clean them up, and then I spent about an hour and a half last night with my hobby knife, cut my finger, but got them all cleaned up. They were pretty bad, actually, pretty bad indeed. So yeah, that's another reason to find metal miniatures. They're brilliant. I love playing with them, like I've said, but yeah, assembling them are a pain. So yeah, it's the morning after. It got very late last night and I got very tired, so I just stopped. So I will come to assembling these a bit later on. But yeah, look at all the metal, and I can tell you what, a lot of it pinged off across the room, and I'll find it over the next couple of months. It was a bit of a mission. But they're all cleaned up now. I've done every single one, so I don't have to don't have any more cleaning up to do that I can see. So next up, it'll be gluing things together, and I will bring you along for that. So, but just not now. Alright, so let's start to assemble this. The first thing that I'm going to need to do is fit the horses together. As you can see, you get 2 of them. Not sure whether they are specifically one to one side, one to the other. I'll have to do some digging, but looking at it, it looks like you can put those on either way, so that's cool. So what we're going to do is have a look at the legs. These are going to be very similar to the legs for the cavalry. So you get a front leg and a back leg, as you can see here. If that would just focus, thank you. And they glue in pretty much the same way. One will go there, and then the other one will go in the back like that. And I see that I have, and this happens quite a lot, I have actually missed a bit, even though I took well over an hour yesterday evening cleaning these up. I missed a bit of the sprue cleanup, and another bit. There's a lot of cleanup on this kit, a lot. So we'll snip and glue. So I'll get that done, and then we will look at the next thing. So the first thing, as I say, is going to be these legs, and I'm going to need to do that on both the horses. So let's just get that done and let that to dry. So that's a front leg, which can go in there. Looks like I am also going to need to be doing some filling for this as well. This project could end up being quite difficult in terms of time. Just time doing bits and pieces rather than actually the fun bit of painting it, doing the terrain, doing the scene, the base. Looks like there's quite a lot of cleanup and stuff, which is quite annoying because that's not what you want to be spending your time doing. So yeah, I'll get the horses glued together, and then we'll have a look at the actual chariot, and hopefully that goes together quite easily. So let's get this done. Okay, so this is just a second or two after the last clip, and what I've noticed is if you look at the bottom of these sprues, that's got a number on it. So that says 2, and that horse says 2 inside its legs. So I was actually gluing that leg on the wrong one, because that's leg number 1 and that is sprue number 1. So there's a little thing to look out for, just to make sure you don't make a mistake. You've got a 1 and you've got a 2, and it does seem that it is only relating to which leg goes with which horse as opposed to anything else, because I can't see anything else that's numbered. But yeah, just pay attention to that. The metal model has not been touched all week. I even put it on my desk where I work, on my office desk, so that I thought if I have a meeting or whatever I can sit and potter with it, but that just hasn't happened. And today this arrived. Now this isn't even marked as shipped yet. It's not even been marked as dispatched, but it went all the way to Germany to my PO box address there, and then came over all the way over here, and so it's arrived. So this is the plastic Voyager from Hasegawa, and I've not looked at it at all. I've just literally taken it out of the box, and this is how it came. So a little bit damaged, a little bit disappointing that, but it doesn't look initially like what's inside is damaged. We've got a couple of plastic sprues there. We've got, I presume this is the little alien. This is the base. So there we are. Like I said, I've not even looked at this. We've got instructions in, or some information in Japanese. It's all in Japanese. Question and answers. Something around, like, looks to me like it's like it's asking questions. I should probably get someone who knows Japanese to translate that. And then this is going to be interesting. We have the instructions of how to make it. So that's the painting instructions, and this is the assembly instructions. So whether this is going to be easier than the metal kit, I'm not sure, but certainly more in my comfort zone. So I'm going to attempt to build that. I'm going to attempt to build that for the TCU challenge still. I have no idea whether I'll continue doing the metal kit. I really love the idea that Meredith gave me, so I kind of really want to, but it's just depressing to look at. But I should do it. So I'll try and do both, and I think even her idea is better than just making this and sticking it in a starfield. So I'll probably just do this just because it's cool, and I'll probably try to do the idea about the crashed Voyager, because that's just a brilliant idea. So I'll just try and get that done, and at least then I can submit that as the entry, and this will just be a cool thing. But anyway, I'm really pleased it arrived. I wasn't sure it was going to come, and here it is. And yeah, it's more in my comfort zone, so hopefully I'll be able to build it better. So yeah, I'll get them done, and hopefully the next thing you see is me having done something on the metal bit rather than getting distracted by this. So we shall see. And the backdrop glued on really, really nicely. I mean, it's not going to take a lot of battering, but that is definitely secure enough when you think that this is going to be sitting on a shelf. Oh, it's going to be a shelf itself, and it'll be up against the wall, so that will be very secure. So the next thing, we're getting close to the end of this, very excited. The next thing is to start fixing in these clouds. Now, I don't want the clouds to be too bulky up the front, but I also don't want to be putting too much glue on it, because that's going to be really messy. So I think roughly that arrangement is going to be pretty good, and what I'm doing is I'm actually pressing it down over the top of some of these uprights. You can see it's actually coming through on this one and through on this one and here, and obviously the boat actually sits over the top of this, and then we've got a falling body here, and a couple of the flying creatures are going to go on some of these. So I just need to kind of glue in place in a few places, not very many places, just to tack it. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use PVA, and I'm going to get myself a bit of PVA on a plate, and with a brush I will put a dab of PVA where I want it, and then I'll probably clamp it in place, and then hopefully the PVA won't come through the material to land to hold the clamp after I try to remove it. So yeah, we'll see. This could go badly wrong, this could destroy the whole thing, but you just got to keep going, haven't you? At the end of the day, we're trying to build a whole diorama, not just get it to this stage, and this is the final and most critical stage, I think. So I'll probably put some music on, move the camera, because you are a little bit in the way where the camera is now, but the idea will be to basically do that, and then just gently press, don't even need to clamp it, gently press a little bit towards there, and that now, when that's dried, that will hold it in place enough, because again, this is not a gaming piece, this is just a display piece. So once again, just a little bit of PVA there, and that will now allow me to just tack that down how I want it, like so, and that should hold it in place. So it's going to be a very delicate operation. I will want to put more. I have more material here, so I've got quite a lot of material that I can use. I might put some more along here. I'll almost certainly want to glue that down along the front so it doesn't come away. But I don't want it to be too overwhelming. I want it to look like it's the clouds coming forwards. It's obviously you're going to have to turn off your a little bit of a suspension of belief, because it's not perfect. I've not got the colour match perfect, which is a shame. But I have got the nice white here going to the white there, which I'm quite pleased about. So yeah, I'll move the camera, put some music on, get this done, and then the final step is going to be the next to final step is putting the ship in place, and the final step is gluing the crew on. That's looking really good. That one didn't take very long at all. But what I realised was that I was almost certainly going to need to adjust things slightly around the ship, particularly. And I'm glad I did, because you can see that, well, you will have seen that there was a little bit of faff getting it around this corner and touching it up there. So what I'm actually about to do now, and this is pretty exciting for me, is actually glue the ship in place. So I can take this out of the way for now, and I'm going to stick the ship down. And I'm also probably going to stick Falling Dude down, because I can do that as well. He's going to go on there, obviously. So we can put Falling Dude there. And once I've glued that, I'll leave that to dry, let that set and go off. But while I'm doing that, I will be making sure that all of my arrangements of clouds around it are okay. So for example, I'll be putting some more clouds in this area here, and I might put a little bit more around below him actually, even before I stick him in. I might just put a bit in now. But this is working out really nicely. I mean, it is like I said, a suspension of disbelief a little bit, in that there's a bit of a, it's obviously, you know, holofill, but it looks great and I love it, so I don't care. I'm very happy. So a little bit of super glue, and then I will continue on with that process, and I will run the camera, even though it's probably a bit odd to watch, but I will run the camera and get the rest of it done. If I can even get the dinosaur glued in place in this, I will as well, and then I will do the actual attacking pterodactyls later. I want to make sure that this is all set and secure. So I'll be using super glue to glue this down. That's going to be good enough. I have these awesome Loctite pen applicators that I really like. They work really well, give you a really good application. So yeah, so I'll get that done, and then leave it to dry probably overnight to come back to it tomorrow and finish it off. But how cool is it to be getting so close to completing this? For a brief golden moment there, I was enjoying myself and I was cracking on really nicely. But these two pieces here have actually snapped off. Another piece spoinged and I can't see it. Actually, I might just have seen it. There it is. I've just found it. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm definitely going to do the crash bit. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to build this and build the other separate parts. So you can see that there's still some stuff that I've not built. I've managed to get this kind of ish. And then, so I'll probably try and get that done now, and then I'll start making the actual, diorama, and I'll have maybe 4 or 5 assemblies. I'm going to try to keep all the bits, so the bit that's spoinged and the bits that are broken off, I'm going to try and keep them. I don't want to lose them, because I can put them onto the diorama, and that's gonna be fine. So yeah, I was enjoying it. I've managed to find a way of doing it which involved, so for round things, just maybe someone might come along and do it. For round things, I'm using one of these. This is a sculpting tool, and it's got quite a nice rounded profile here that you can get quite small or go to larger or whatever, so that's quite useful. But the thing that I was using the most was just a hobby knife. So you're able to bend bend things over the blade, and then use this to press the little tabs in place. However, yeah, I'm never buying another one of these. So I'm going to make the final bits of the assemblies together, and then we'll have a look at the diorama, and I will bring you along when I come to that. The next thing is to glue these pterodactyl in place, and you can see they're a little bit oddly positioned at the moment. That's because I need to glue them like this, and I'm going to bend the wire to the angle I need it for this one and for this one. This one's perfect. Very, very pleased with that one. So just use super glue again to glue them in place. I won't run the camera because it's a bit fiddly. They're just positioned at the moment. So yes, I'll be doing that with super glue. Let that go off. Shouldn't take too long, and then it will be a case of bending them into shape, and then the jumping attacker will then be glued onto the wing so that she is jumping across, and then I'm going to start to populate the ship, which is very exciting. I've nearly finished doing the clouds, not quite, nearly. There's a couple more bits and pieces I want to do, but yeah, let's get these pterodactyl in place. And there we are, they're in place and they're glued. I've put a couple more bits and pieces of clouds on in places as well. I think I might need to clamp some of them just to make them right. So let me zoom out so you can see what I'm doing here. So I want to have cloud around this. So if I just clamp around it rather than to it, that should hold it in place. Maybe not. Maybe just clamp at the top like that. That's not working. Might just have to hope. I think I just have to hope on that one. But yeah, so these are done. So what I'm going to do now is get back to the point. Is start to stick the characters in place. Now, because of the angle that the boat is at, which is a violent angle and would not be very supportable for long, I'm going to have to use the super glue to speed up the drying, this kind of stuff that speeds the drying up, so otherwise they'll fall over. So there we are, there's the captain. And then standing next to him is going to be hopefully if it works, is going to be this duo here. So I might glue those together separately. So what I'll do anyway, I'm going to get everything glued on place. I'm not going to run the camera for too long for all of this, because it's going to be a bit difficult to do, and I'm going to be making a lot of changes and running around. But there's going to be things like my archer there's going to be an archer stood there. I'm going to be having this guy here who's throwing, this lady here who's throwing a javelin is going to be there. I'm going to put, like I say, the woman with the pet next to the owner, to the main guy, and then that will be glued on top there. But that will obviously happen at the end. So I'm going to assemble and put in place all of these figures, and then I'll bring you back, and that will pretty much be it. Done. Well, this week I took delivery of the Joan of Arc 1.5, and yeah, I just put it to one side. I haven't felt all that massively excited about it. There's so many reports of bad printing and just no quality control that it's kind of taken a lot of the joy away from me, and I'm really, really gutted about it, to be honest, because Joan of Arc was my first Kickstarter, and I mean, we love playing it. We haven't played it very much, but every time we've played it, we've enjoyed it. But yeah, the project's been so, I don't know, I don't want to say too much negative, but it just feels like it's kind of lost its way. And so yeah, this has been a long time delayed as well. It's very, very late. So we're going to have a look and see what's inside the box. I'm going to try not to be too down about it. What I always say is that delays are always forgotten, and rather have something late and right than early and not right. But the problem with what I'm hearing is this is late and wrong, which kind of means that you're going to always remember it being late, because you're always going to be annoyed that it's wrong. So anyway, let's have a look and see what's inside the box. I've got the Teutonic Knights add-on and a few other bits and pieces. So yeah, I'll take things out and then I'll have a look through what came. I'm not going to do a particular review of it, just going to have a look at it, and yeah, maybe one day we'll even get to play with it, but for now it's probably just going to go straight on the shelf. So the biggest box that you saw, we'll look at first. This is the Game Trays Deluxe Storage Box. So this is actually going to be really quite useful because at the moment all of my cards and everything are all over the place, and that's not really ideal. They're out, they're getting dusty. I'm not totally sure. I'm looking at this and that doesn't really tell me very much, though I can see that we're going to get all of the tiles in. The only problem is I probably should have bought 2 of these because I actually have I think I might have more than one set of a few things. But anyway, so it looks to me like you can organise the tiles in here. I'm not sure whether you're going to be able to get miniatures in. I don't think you can get miniatures in, but it does look like you can get these are the buildings. These are the dashboards, that's the word I'm looking for. We've got all the cards, so that can be really useful just to keep it a bit more organised. And as I'm reorganising at the moment, I'm reorganising my games room. One of the things I do want to do is take or rationalise the amount of space that and the mess around Joan of Arc. I mean, I love looking at the miniatures, are great, and one of these days I will get to painting them. But this is going to be helpful. So this is the deluxe storage box. I will get that arranged, and I'll probably do a video when I've done it and when it's all in place, so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, they're a bit messy at the moment, so this will be good. Get them undusted, get them all stacked into place. So that was the first box. The other box is a little bit more interesting. It has a few more bits and pieces in it, so let's have a look at that. So this is what was in the second box. We've got the Teutonic Knights. We've got some bases, which is very controversial because apparently you don't get the bases for the Teutonic Knights. So we shall see. I've got some more cards, sleeves even. Not sure what's in this, so let's have a quick look. Right, so what I think we've got, I don't know, okay, so not just, so we've got French on the back. It looks like we've got a combination of French and English cards there. So we've got some cards. I'm not sure whether these are the replacements because I had to reprint them because of all the mistakes in the first version. But we've got the rule book, which is nice because there's all loads and loads and loads of little itty bitty kind of things. So that's the rule book, that's the scenario collection book, so that gathers them all together so I don't have quite so many annoying things to kind of keep on top of. Let's have a look inside here. Yeah, it's the same because I got 2 all-ins. I was big into this when it first came out. I get a second one. So there we are. So I've got 2 rule books, 2 scenario collection books, loads of cards, and now let's have a look and see what's inside the Teutonic Knights box. Right, so as always, French and English. Such a waste of paper. We have tiles. Now I wonder if these fit in the deluxe box. We have a bunch of cards and some more cards that's fallen down. A load of baggies with miniatures in it, so that's number 4. Now on the Discord, someone very, very nice put together the numbers and what these are, so I won't have to try to guess. I mean, no matter how much you can... Oh, that's broken. Okay, so we've got I've got a broken one there. Look, you can see. So that's going to have to be dealt with. Yeah, no matter what you say, the miniatures are very nice. But I was just about to say that, and I'm looking at this, and that one's broken. The head's come off it, and I can't actually even see the head in the bag. Yeah, I mean they've just yeah. I'm not going to grumble too much, but grumble. I don't even want to open any more of those. I'm going to have to go through that at a better time when I'm not filming and when I can pay attention. But yeah, that's really not cool. Because the thing that you like about Mythic Games is the fact that their miniatures are good. And to have the first one I opened broken just because it's been shoved in, I mean that's badly packed. It's not not been thought through how much space these are going to take to try to fit into there. Someone's had to shove that in, and that's why that's broken, which isn't cool at all. Yeah, I'm not going to break any more. And let's have a look at what's inside this box. Right, so almost. Right, so that looks like some kind of a dragon thing. Let's pull all these out. Okay, these are cool, and this is what you like about Mythic Games. The miniatures are normally, when they're not broken, oh geez, that was a bit risky, are beautiful. And I mean, look at that. You just want to paint it immediately, don't you? They are wicked. Absolutely lovely. And tiny and so detailed. Just a shame, a little bit bent on that one, but that's fine. This is a shame that one of the first miniatures I saw was broken. So there we are. That's the Teutonic Knights box. Crunch. And the extras, so the rule book and what have you, that came because I was back with the first version. Like I say, you can probably hear in my voice, I feel quite let down by it all, and my initial impressions are broken miniature. The fact that I know that the scenario collection book is missing scenarios that were promised to us. The fact that I know there are mistakes in the rule book, and the fact that people have been saying that the cards are the different size, so I'll find that out as well, and the cards are not of the same quality. Now, I probably won't suffer from that, because from what I've heard, it's the upgrade pack which I've got are okay. It's people that have bought it second, like come to it late, and bought what I bought first time around 3 years ago now, and they've just not come at the same quality. We shall see. I'm not sure. I might come back and do another video on this, but for now, that's what's arrived. I love the miniatures. I want to be excited, but I've seen a broken miniature already. I'm going over myself. I'm repeating myself. There we are. Time of Legends, Joan of Arc, Teutonic Knights. At least it's here. At least it's delivered. I'm going to be sending them emails as they've requested with defect reports, and I'm going to need to make some time to actually do that, because they've given a deadline of the 10th of December. So yeah, we shall see how that goes. There we are. Right, I have made enough of this, and made enough of an annoyance of myself with it. So I've got a box here of parts, and I've got a bunch more stuff that I've not made. But I broke it so many times, and it's so fiddly and so annoying that I'm quite relieved that I have the idea to do this as a destroyed piece, because yeah, it is destroyed. There's not a chance I'm getting that bundle of parts into that. It's just not happening, so I'm giving up. But I'm not giving up totally, because I'm going to make a diorama now, and that's going to be the next part. So what I'm going to do is work out a rough arrangement, work out how I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to make it in a box, I think. I'm not sure. Might put it in a box so that I can put stars and what have you, but I don't know. Ultimately, it's going to be Voyager crashed onto a barren planet. So yeah, let's get to it. So there we are, a long vlog, but a lot done. I'm so pleased to have got that dinosaur flying boat jobby thingy diorama done. It looks absolutely brilliant, and yeah, I mean, it's taken a long time to get done, but it's been worth it. Not quite as long as the lake has taken, however, so getting that started again next week hopefully will be a real pleasure, and there's a whole load to go with that, so I've got a load of other things to add to it. I've got some miniatures that I'm in the process of painting, and various other bits and pieces, so that's going to be a really cool project to finish. And the canned project which I've been working on has been a lot of fun. Anyway, you've just watched this, so I don't know why I'm recapping. If you made it this far, you know what I've done. And what a fun week it's been. So thanks so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. And I'll wrap up, as I always do, by saying please, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.